Hello and welcome to another webinar from the Ability series. Today, we'll be talking about yoga to manage emotions and improve the wellness of children with special needs. We'll be discussing in detail techniques to increase mental clarity, emotional stability, and a greater sense of overall well-being for children with special needs. The session conductor today is Mrs. Sophie Spoor, who's a yoga teacher and a kids yoga book author and speaker. We are so glad to have her here with us today. But more about her a little later. We'll get started, but let us give a couple of more minutes for more of our friends to join us. Till then, enjoy the good music. Great. So like I was already saying, today we'll be talking about yoga to manage emotions and improve the wellness of children with special needs. An in-length discussion upon techniques to increase mental clarity, emotional stability, and a greater sense of overall well-being for children with special needs. Today's session conductor would be Mrs. Sophie Spoor. She's a yoga teacher and a kids yoga book author and speaker. So glad to have here with us today. Before we get started, let me give you all a quick and brief introduction about Ability. For us as an organization, all carers of children with special needs are at the center of our universe. Our mission is to give every child an opportunity to thrive. And how we do it? We do it by making resources more accessible, affordable, and effective for everyone through technology and, of course, through collaboration with caregivers like you all. Like I was saying, we bring to you a host of other support systems such as community and resources so that none of us should have to do this alone. Everyone should be given the chance to enable the best possible chance of discovering their child's true potential. For you to be able to access resources from the Ability platform, you can visit app.ability.com and click on the resources tab here. Clicking on this tab will give you access to all the resources available for free for you to learn from and help children with special needs. Also, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which has over hundreds of useful videos, or you can follow our Facebook page to stay posted about updates from Ability. The links to all these things, which includes our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our resources platform, is being shared in the chat box right now. You can click and save the blue link that is being shared in the chat box, and you can access to all these links later after the webinar is over. Again, another important section of offering from Ability is Ability events, where we conduct numerous workshops and webinars, one being today. You can check out the upcoming schedule for Ability events by clicking on the events tab here. This page includes all the upcoming sessions and also the past ones under the on-demand category. All you need to do is log into your Ability account to be able to register for these events. If you don't already have an Ability account, registering for any of these events by entering a few details will help you create one. And once you're logged in, all you need to do is click on the simple orange color button to register for any of the webinar or workshop that you would like to attend from Ability. Also, what is exciting is the Ability membership plan. You can become an yearly member, a monthly member, or a quarterly member to access Ability membership. And we have a very exciting offer going on right now. We are offering Ability membership for free for a trial month of 1 period. Yes, of 1 month. Yes, you heard that right. For a period of 1 month, you can avail Ability membership for free. The link to that is again accessible via the link being shared in the chat box. So do check it out. And by getting an Ability membership, you can claim either your free trial, and also once your free trial has expired, you can switch to monthly membership. That, by the way, is our most popular plan. What is the advantage of having Ability membership? You would be able to attend different workshops across different learning paths, which are specially designed by experts from around the world, along with Ability team. These learning paths will include workshops on different special need conditions, behavioral challenges, speech and language related challenges, motor skills, remedial education, and much more. All these workshops will cover the essential knowledge, strategies and interventions, assessment tools, or case studies and activities. So you definitely don't want to miss it, right? Okay, without further ado, coming to today's event, this will be conducted by Mrs. Sophie Spoor, like I already mentioned. Sophie is a French yoga teacher who specialized in kids yoga as a mother of 3 children. She founded So Yoga, which has been implemented in over 14 schools. She's a registered instructor under Ministry of Education in Singapore, a certified special needs kids yoga instructor, and also she conducts private or group yoga classes to special needs children with ASD, ADHD, MD, etc. She teaches yoga to children, families, and adults in Singapore and aims to bring fun and happiness, peace and relaxation to her students through yoga. She has also wrote and published kids yoga books, kids yoga cards, and provides mats and accessories to support yoga lovers practice yoga from anywhere under her brand Mini Yogi. Wow, that's really interesting. So glad to have you here with us, Sophie.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Swati, for the nice introduction.
So shall we get started? I am pretty sure the audience is very excited to hear from you.
Good. Same here. Very excited to be conducting my first webinar with you guys, and happy to connect with this beautiful community here. As Swati mentioned, I'll be talking to you about yoga and how it can help the children with special needs to feel happier, less stressed, and better. So what is yoga? Big question. We've all heard about yoga. Some of you might have practiced yoga before. Let's just take a step back to understand the definition of yoga. It simply means the union of the breath, the body, and the soul. So it's a holistic approach. And we see it, or the way I see it, is that yoga is not only a workout, and it's a work in. So you use your body to feel more quiet inside of you. Okay, and it works for adults, it also works for kids. Kids yoga follows the same objective as adults yoga, is to make children happier, feel more quiet and better, manage their emotions. But kids yoga, and especially with special needs, it's just brought in a different way. Yoga for kids is more joyful, more loud sometimes, and it's more, we present it in a fun way to make it attractive. The objective is to make kids love yoga so that they can feel better. All right, next slide. So, of course, facing yoga to special needs children present certain difficulties. I've listed 3, which to me appear as being the main one. The number one is the difficulty that these children have to control the breathing, the muscles contraction and relaxation, and the mind relaxation. So although we say yoga is a holistic approach for special needs children, we specifically work on one aspect at a time. So we work on the breathing, on the movement, and on the relaxation. It doesn't mean that when we move, we don't breathe, but the main focus is on one specific area at a time. So that's the main difference, I would say. Number 2 is the gross motor development delay or weakness, the low muscle tone engagement. And for that, they need They need yoga practitioner, teacher, or some assistants. So you will be helping the children to get the benefits of the poses. Although they cannot lift one arm or move one leg, you use your own body to help them to get into a pose. So you need your hands to guide them. For instance, if we want the children to do a twist, you would help them to get into the twist. So they get exactly the same benefits out of the pose. You just guide them to get into the pose because they can't achieve it on their own sometimes. They get the same benefits, strengthening, detoxifying, or flexibility. All right. So they need our body to get the benefits of yoga. Number 3 is their difficulty in focusing or understanding the exercises. So that's why for special needs kids, we keep the practice even shorter and simple. And I should have said one more word, repetitive. So we keep repeating the same exercises again and again and again. We learn by repetition as human beings, but we try to reduce the amount of surprises for special children. So we keep repeating the same exercises every day. 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day is better than 60 minutes a week. So keep it short, simple, and repeat. Next slide. All right, so having a children with special need, you can look for all of these benefits through yoga. Okay, having a child practicing yoga helps them to physically feel better, feel stronger, feel more flexible, having a better posture, better coordination, all of these beautiful attributes that you want the children to have. Intellectually, yoga can help them to focus better, to concentrate. Because when we focus our attention on doing one pose, the mind has to be present in the moment. So that's where we learn to channel the mind. Emotionally, yoga helps to channel the energy level, help to lower down the stress, deal with the anxiety. It helps to boost the confidence level as well. So all of these beautiful benefits, we can bring them to the kids, but it's our job to make the kids love yoga. They need to be willing to do some yoga. So that's where we need to make yoga accessible to them and make it fun, make it attractive. So the way I like to see it is to make them love their yoga mat. The yoga mat is a space for the children to feel free. In yoga, and that's one of the things I love about yoga, there's no competition. There's no level 1 or level 2. There's no judgment at all. So kids feel free to move, to cry, to express themselves physically or emotionally. So it's an area of freedom where they can just let go the body and the mind. And if we don't have to tell them the benefits of yoga, but if they practice, I guarantee they will feel the benefits on their own. Okay, so we need to try different exercises, different posture, repeating. When they feel better, they will be the one asking you to get back onto their yoga mats. They will be asking you to settle a quiet corner at home or in the yoga classroom. So bringing yoga into their lifestyle, and then they will get the benefits. Maybe one thing to say as well, one day I had a student, a little girl, and she was really, really shy. And she was not really doing much at class with me. There was a group of 6 students, I believe. And she was just sitting there and she was observing her peers and not doing much. So I was a bit worried, like, I don't know, she's coming because it's at school, she has to come, but I was not sure of the benefit she would get of coming back every week, although she had to come every week. And one day her mom sent me a message saying that her daughter loved my yoga classes. So I was like, wow, that's good to know. Well, can you tell me more? And then the little girl actually at home, when she felt quiet enough, when she had no friends around or any teacher, she was trying every single exercises that I was teaching on the day. And she was actually teaching her mom and probably her dad. So I guess what I want to say is give the children time as well. Maybe they need more time to process. Maybe they need a different space to exercise, but give them time, give them the opportunity to practice, and they will get the benefits. All right, next slides, Swati, please. All right, so how do we bring yoga into children with special needs lives? A few key things to settle. I think there are 4. Number 1, which is very key, is to create a routine. So whether you're at home and you want to practice every morning, weekday, or after wake up, or every evening before you go to bed, get it automatic. So we don't question it. It's yoga time and that's it. There's no argue about it. You practice and that's all. So it becomes part of the daily life. At school, same thing. We could settle the yoga break before a test or after recess to channel the energy down. So sticking to a planning, to a routine would help to get yoga into a natural habit, planting seeds for yoga to be part of their daily healthy lifestyle. So that was number 1. Second thing is to prepare the room. Okay, so you settle the environment for the kids to have a smooth experience. With special needs children, you want to reduce the amount of disturbing elements. So you want the light to be smooth. If you use music, it shouldn't be louder than your own voice. The temperature should be nice enough. So you make it comfortable, comfy. Ideally, you have a special corner for yoga. It could be your yoga mat in a corner of the room, or it could be just a simple towel if you don't have a yoga mat. If the kid is on a wheelchair, it should be a chair, a special chair that is really allocated to yoga, to quality time and calm time. If you have a group of children, I would say maximum 6 or 8 would be a good group for conducive session, if possible with the assistance of personal assistant to help you. So you have the routine, you have the room ready, and then you get into the room. Next slide, please, Wally. Prepare yourself. So you would be the channel for yoga. So if you feel stressed, if you feel anxious, they would feel it. And probably yoga is not to be brought to them at that time. So I would say do yoga yourself. If you don't particularly practice yoga or don't want to practice yoga, meditate or walk outside or take a moment for you to settle down, to get quiet mentally, and so that your body can be a good channel to bring in yoga. Soft, slow voice and gesture, okay? Also, when you start conducting your sessions, always try to keep a good connection with your students, look at their face, observe their breathing to make sure the session is smooth and it's safe. For those who do yoga on their own in studio or via Zoom at the moment, we know how important it is to align ourselves nicely, to have the hands aligned with the shoulders on top of the hips, blah, blah, blah. Yoga for kids is not about perfect alignment. Special needs children, not at all, okay? It doesn't matter if one arm is higher than the other, if the hips are not completely squared. At the end of the day, you want the kids to create a connection with their own body, and you want them to have a good experience. So be positive, and it's okay. We need to keep encouraging the kids. And of course, give clear, simple instructions to the children. And finally, prepare the children. All right. So when we practice yoga, usually we take off the socks and the shoes. Teenage guys, usually they don't like to take off their socks. If you feel resistance, socks is okay, but shoes, hopefully try to get them off. And remind them about safety precautions. I guess the key word is respect, okay? Whatever happened on their mat, they need to respect themselves. Outside of the mat, they need to respect their peers, so be aware of their environment. When I say respect about themselves, maybe I jump into the last point, which is make sure the exercise is right for them. Yoga should never be painful, okay? Yoga should make the children feel something. So nothing, you get no benefits of it, but out of a range 0 to 10, in terms of pain or sensations, you want the children to remain within the 4 to 6 range. So they get some sensations out of them, but pain, no. If they feel pain, and you will see, they will tell you, or get them into a suitable position. It could be sitting like this, it could be lying down. So give them a break if you think we're going a little bit too far. What else? Make sure that the children are ready, okay? So you and the children can decide on a specific signal, which means yoga time. We are starting now. It could be saying like yoga, or it could be, I'll just show you. Maybe you have seen this before. It works really well for autistic kids. It's a singing bell. And it does create a very clear sound. So whatever, signal that you want to keep using every time you start the practice, stick to that routine as well. It will help to send a good message. Okay, calm down. And what else? Oh, if you touch the children, which we discussed before, communicate to them about this. Tell them you're going to touch them. If possible, get their consent. All right, next slide. All right, so the next few slides, so there are 3 slides. Each of them is giving you specific yoga exercises to practice with the children. The first one is for the toddlers, so for the young kids 2 to 5 years old. Then it's for the 6 to 10 years old, like primary school age, and then for the tweens and the teenagers. Every single class that I'm going to show you could last about 10 minutes. It doesn't mean it has to last 10 minutes. Maybe the first day you just do 2 minutes and then you increase over time. Maybe it could last even more than 10 minutes. It's just an indication. You will feel how much longer or shorter it needs to be. Every sequence has 3 main elements: breathing and stretching and warming up, yoga poses that we call asanas, so all the movements, and quiet time. So if we look at the energy level of a class, okay, if the energy level, if the children start super high in energy, angry or whatever, you want the energy to go down, so that at the end, they finish their practice, go home or go school, feeling quiet. If the energy is really low and you got the children exhausted and not willing to do much, then our job is to bring the energy level up and smoothly down, but a little bit less down than earlier. So we always try to finish with a quiet time. All right, just going quickly, and then I will do the demonstration. We'll do some flower smelling. We'll roll the body, and then we'll do some hips movement, spine movement, side stretches, and some wiggling movement at the end. In yoga classes, we work mainly on the shoulders. Shoulders is where we get the stress stuck, shoulders and neck. On the spine, flexibility, and on the hips. Anything related to the hips is the emotion. So getting the hips into movement will help their emotions to flow more freely. All right, Swati, if you want to stop the slide sharing and show my screen instead. Okay, look. So for toddlers, I like to use the natural environment. I like to use the nature and the animals a lot. For the breathing, when I say smell a flower, it could be a fake flower, it could be a real flower, it could be a drawing of a flower, and you can present the flower to the child, and just ask them to sit nice and tall. If they can't sit nice and tall, you can use the support of a wall as well. And you ask them to smell the perfume of the flower. Breathe in, enjoy, and breathe out. At that age, they would usually breathe out through the mouth, which is fine. Breathe in and out. The moment you slow down their breath, you get their mind to get more quiet. Then their body is more ready to move as well. Okay, so the breathing a flower is quite effective at that age. They don't have to make the flower roll. You don't need anything fancy at all. But getting a picture or something to invite them to breathe properly. After breathing, we get them into rolling. Okay, so rolling from top to bottom, we would probably ask them to roll the head. If they cannot roll their head, if they're going too fast, gently bring your hands, your own hands, to the side of the head and guide the movements. As you roll the head, make sure the rest of the body do not move much. Okay, you learn them to be aware of what's happening along the neck. Ask them to breathe from your neck and switch side. Okay, so as we start some simple movements, you just make sure that they don't hold their breath. So remind them to breathe. After rolling the head, maybe we go onto the shoulders. So maybe you bring your hands onto their own shoulders and roll their shoulders for them. Maybe try to touch their ears with the shoulders, bring the shoulders all the way back, down and forward. Okay, I show you from the side. Try to really make beautiful circles. If it doesn't make sense for them to move the shoulders only, ask them to draw circles on their side with their elbows. Okay, and maybe you hold on to their elbows instead. Okay, the key is to get their shoulders to move, to unlock. Okay, to let the anger go. After a couple, and make sure you switch side. Okay, and after the neck and the shoulders, we want to move the whole upper body together. So you can have their or your hands onto their knees or onto their shoulders and roll their body into circles. Okay, as they move, and they usually love it, as they move like this, it helps to improve their digestive system as well. Make sure that the knees are not moving too much. Same thing for the bottom. Bottom is not moving much. And of course, what to do? Other side. They would probably keep rolling and rolling again. It makes them feel comfortable. And at some point, you need to stop them. Okay, observe their own stillness, how they feel. Okay, we can roll our ankles, our wrists. Did I say ankles? Wrist. Side to side. And then now the ankles. So you would probably guide them to straighten up one leg, lift the foot a bit. You can enjoy seeing my foot from very near, and roll the foot. You can wiggle the toes. It helps them to stretch the back of the legs as well. And of course, in yoga, we want to balance both sides. So we switch to the other leg, hold onto the leg probably, and roll the other foot. Maybe guide them to listen to the movement. Can they hear anything when you roll their ankles? Good. All right. So if after a couple of sessions, you want to add more rolling movements, up to you. Okay. You can also stand up and roll the hips in hula hoop. You can roll many, many things. All right. So that would be the warm up for this age group. And then we would move on to asanas, to real yoga poses. So the one I've listed first is the butterfly. For the 3 poses for that age group, I use animal poses, okay, so that they can probably relate to the poses, so we make it more fun. Butterfly, you might be familiar with the pose. You bring the feet together, although they don't have to be completely squeezed, they could be a bit open, but the heels kind of touch. I show you from the side. The heels don't have to be completely together with your groin. Further apart is fine as well. Once they sit nice and tall, get them to hold on to their ankles and place your hands on their knees and help the knees to fly up and down. So like the butterfly flying. Okay, this movement is for the hips, so helping to regulate the emotions. So you can just stay there. After a few sessions, if you want to add the double wing movement, you can move with your arms, or you can also imagine that the butterfly is sleepy and wants to have a little sleep. Okay, it's okay if the head is not touching the feet. Okay, there's no fixation. It doesn't mean they're bad or good if they touch the toes or not. All right. After this position, bring the knees together. So whenever we do a strong pose, so that would be the strong hips opening, make sure you let go. So take time to squeeze the legs to close the hips before we move on. Moving on to the cat and the cow position. So for that one, you guide the children to come onto their hands and their knees. Okay, from the side, it shows like this. From the front, as you can see, my hands are underneath my shoulders. Okay, they would probably start like this, lift their elbows up, guide the hands underneath the shoulders. The knees are slightly apart. Okay, whether they tuck or point the toes, it's okay. If they have very sensitive knees, you can place a blanket to protect their kneecaps as well. And from there, you can do the meow of a cat if you wish. You bring their chin up, nose up. Okay, so again, guide the spine to get a beautiful arch and guide their spine to get a beautiful rounding, like a balloon. Breathing in, you can do the meow, chin up, breathing out, meow. Good, keep repeating this exercise. This simple exercise that adults do as well in most of the yoga classes help the spine to get flexible, stay alert. So it's a very, very good one to do every day. Okay. And it also reinforces the core strength of their arms and shoulders. After the cat, if they feel a bit tired, you guide them to sit on their shins, sitting onto their knees. Okay, you can shake the arms if they felt a little bit tired. And we transform into a giraffe. Okay, so we can do 3 kinds of giraffe. Bring the hands together and slide the hands above head. Okay, so we know the giraffes have long neck like this. Giraffe, I love the giraffe because it brings space to the side of the body. So it brings space within their own body. So baby giraffe is like this, but the baby giraffe sometimes is hungry and wants to slide to the side to eat some leaves. Okay, so you can do some clapping with the hands, like imitating the baby giraffe eating. I show you from the side. When you move to the side, make sure you're not rounding their back too much, not arching. So imagine you're sliding against the wall. You want to stretch the left side and bring them back to the center and other side. Again, if their elbows are bent, if it's just going there, that's okay. But make sure it's not only the arms and shoulders moving, it's really starting from the base of the side. That was baby giraffe. After baby giraffe, oh, I got further to the back, you can guide them into mummy giraffe. So you lift the hips up and then you repeat the same exercise. Left and right. All right, getting higher and higher. You can go into daddy giraffe. Can you still see me? Yeah. Daddy giraffe. I don't know why it's so high, by the way. Leaning to one side and other side. Okay, if balance is so-so, use the support of the wall behind them. After a few sessions, after trying baby, mummy, and daddy giraffe, you can also ask them to come onto their tippy toes. So lifting the heels up and then stretching to the side. Lots of balancing work, which will get their attention turned on. So that was the movements for that group H. So just going back onto the hips for the emotion, spine for the flexibility, and giraffe for the spine and the muscle strength. And after these three exercises, they still need quiet time. Okay, so gradually we ground the children down. We ask them to lie down. And we don't expect for the kids to lie down and do Shavasana, like meditating for 5 minutes, of course. So the way we can guide them is using another animal. It's the octopus. Okay, so the shoulders are down, the back is down, and you will ask or you will guide the kids to lift their arms and their legs up. And you can tell a story like their beautiful octopus swimming in the water. If you hold their arms, make sure their arms are soft. Okay. If you feel that the kids are a bit upset, angry, or still have a lot of energy, maybe for 20 seconds, we swim the octopus super fast. And that's a really good way to let go as well. And after a while, the octopus gets tired and can swim slowly and slowly. And I guarantee after swimming for 1 minute, you will be probably asked to lower the legs and arms down. The final pose, that one, Shavasana, if you get the kids of that age, special needs, to lie down for 15 seconds, well done. Over time, you try to get longer and longer. I would say 1 minute. It's okay as well. Usually, yoga, we ask the students to close their eyes. With children, they would probably be willing to keep their eyes open, and it's absolutely fine. After this, after the lying down, you guide them to sit down again. At the end of a yoga practice, sometimes we join the hands together, and both the practitioner, teacher or guide, whatever, and the children can say namaste. At the beginning, you have a clear word or sign to say we start yoga. At the end, same thing, namaste. It means yoga is over. Okay, so it's quite important to get a clear signal for the ending as well. All right, Swati, you can show the slide again. All right, it was like any question, but no question. 10 minutes for children. So children, meaning school age, primary, so 6 to 10 years old. At that age, kids are even more active. So I put a lot of warm up, but usually their body is always warm anyway. Still using some animals poses because kids at that age love animals. So yoga by animals is even funnier. So yoga is cool and let's do it. So what do we do at that age? I put home breathing. I'll guide you through it. Home breathing, there's nothing religious about it at all. It just helps them to control the breathing. Control the breathing means controlling the nervous system and the emotions. And then a series of twists, forward fold, back bend. So quite a deep range of movement from the spine. Poses, we repeat cat and cow, but I'll show you a variation. Downward facing dog, which is hilarious. Tree pose, and we'll try a different quiet time. Okay, so still the same skeleton, but we're going a bit deeper. All right, buddy. You can stop sharing the slide if you wish. All right, so breathing, if you want to keep repeating the flower breathing, if you think that's appropriate for your special child, of course, feel free to use it. Although for that age, I'm proposing today a different one. Om breathing. So basically one Om chanting is one breath. And you want to keep your chanting, your breath longer and longer and longer. There's no competition in yoga, I was saying it, but maybe for that one, you can make it a game, like who can chant the longest. So you would ask the kid to sit as tall as you can. You can present your own hand above the head and guide the kid to reach for the hand. Stay there. Breathe in, so bring the air in within the nose and chant Om. When there's no more air into the lungs, you stop for a while, enjoy the freedom of your breath, and then repeat. Okay, I won't chant again, enough, but you know you know how it works now. Om, as some of you may know, it means that you take off all the noises in the universe, you bring them all together, and it does create that wonderful noise and sound, which is Aum. Okay, it doesn't matter if you say Aum or Om. If the child is shy and wants to chant with the mouth closed, there's nothing wrong. I give you another trick. If you practice with especially your child back to back and chant Om together, and then you would be chanting alone, ask your child or the child to feel the vibrations within your backs and switch. He or she would be chanting and you would be feeling, and then again together. It's a wonderful bonding and breathing exercise to be doing together. So the Om breathing, you can do it at least 3 times, 5 times, okay? And of course, keep it longer and longer over time. As we move into where we, movement, yes, twist. So twisting has to start from the lower part of the spine all the way to the neck. We don't start from the neck and shoulders, we start from the lower part. To keep it safe, okay, if you guide them, you stop when you feel some resistance, okay? So I'll get you the most simple one. It could be the helicopter twist. If you have enough space at home, helicopter flying like this. If you want to make it more traditional, okay, and stop the movement, you have to cross their left hand onto their right knee and bring the right hand behind the hips. I'll show you from the side. And you probably guide them to twist more and to look back. So the twisting of the neck is the last part. Whenever you twist, you stimulate the digestive system, and it helps to unlock the spine, making the spine more flexible and mobile. Whenever You do one side, you know the rules, we need to do the other side. So twisting to the other side. And you'll probably notice that there's always one side more open than another one, and that's normal. So that would be for the twist. All right, forward fold. Forward fold could be with the legs crossed like this, or could be standing up. What matters is to stretch the lower back, okay? So you would guide the children to forward fold. And if they can't touch the floor with their forehead, there's nothing wrong about it. You can lift the floor up, so bring a cushion so that they get excited that they can touch something. Or bend their elbows, support their head, that's fine. Making sure that the bottom stays down so they really can feel the stretch for the lower part of the back. If for some reason this is not accessible for them, legs straight, knees bent a bit, forward fold. Or standing up, as I was saying, standing up and forward fold. Okay, so as long as you get the stretch, maybe for the back of the thighs and for the lower back, we are good. We got the effect that we wanted. Whatever we are doing too much, as I say, we do the opposite. So we bend forward. After that, we want to bend backwards. Back bend could be as simple as bringing the hands back, lift your heart, and look back. Okay, if you want to go deeper, walk the hands further to the back, lift your heart higher and back. Opening the heart is helping as well with the emotions. It helps to let go of sadness, or if children feels a bit lonely. So also it doesn't feel comfortable to expose the heart and expose the throat at first, but it's a really, really good one. Okay, so guide them. Maybe you stop there. Over time, if they want even more, you can guide them into the crab pose. Lots of strength for the arms and shoulders. So, okay, so opening up their rib cage and the heart would be the key for that one. And then we get into the asanas, yoga poses. I put there cat and cow. So same as what we've done for the toddlers, hands and knees down, arching and rounding. Focus is really on the spine movement. Once at this age they feel comfortable, you can transform their cat into tigers. Okay, so you can tell them that tigers have a long tail. So you would guide them or help them to lift one leg. Good. And it's a balancing walk. So you can try that one. Over time, you can get them into the full pose, which is imagining the tiger wants to hunt and wants to really hold on to something. Okay. Not the same side. So if you raise their right leg, it's their left arm. So opposite side to work on the side coordination. And of course, both sides. Okay. So I'm not saying they will be able to do it. It's a big challenge, especially for special children, but it is fun. And if they fall down, I guarantee they will. You're not too high, so it's quite safe. And they will want to get better at it. So the cat and cow balancing is quite fun. Once you get there stable enough onto the cat pose, you can ask them which animal doesn't like cat and guide them to the dog pose. Tuck their toes, maybe hold onto their hips and help them to lift the hips up. Okay, I show you, it is a downward facing dog. When you do the down dog for them, okay, make sure it's not a plank, otherwise it's a bit painful for the wrist. Down dog, shoulders are way back. You can pedal the legs or they can stay still. In down dog, first, they will find it maybe scary or funny, you will see. You can help them to stay for 3 breaths and then maybe longer. It does stretch the whole back of the body. Okay, make the spine long, make the shoulders strong. How to get out of this? 2 choices. step forward or walk the hands back. Usually, they would prefer to walk back. Walk the hands back, and it's okay to bend the knees. And then gently, as smoothly as possible, get them to stand up. I'll guide the camera up a bit. To stand up. All right, as they stand up, make sure they take note of their environment. They've been sitting, doing funny poses near the floor. Get them, be aware of their new position. As they stand up, maybe for the first few times, use a wall. We're gonna balance into tree pose, which maybe some of you know. Tree pose, for 5, 6, 7 years old, maybe could stay like this, baby tree. So both feet would still be touching the floor, maybe with the back against the wall, maybe not. Okay, so one leg is a standing leg, it's the trunk of the tree. The little toes are like the roots, grounded. And then the arms make it playful. Branches of the tree, cactus tree, Christmas tree, any tree that they like. Depending on their physical challenges, mental challenges, you can guide them maybe to leave the foot higher and higher. Okay, you never want to put their knee against their foot against their knee. Okay, but higher or lower than the knee is okay. And you make sure that one knee is facing in front, one knee is facing to the side. So it's not like this. Okay, belly button is facing to the front. Tree pose is the most relaxing yoga poses ever, according to many of us, because you focus so much on staying still that nothing else can happen. You don't think about other things. So stress goes down. After trying for a couple of breaths, and it's okay if the tree wiggles a bit, moves a bit, you just explain to them, there's wind, that's it, the tree is moving, nothing not a big deal. Then you move to their second leg. And we always have a stronger leg. Just fun to know. Which leg do they prefer, left or right? And maybe both legs are equally strong. Good. The hands could be staying here, especially if the child is a bit too high for you as well. That's okay. Hands in Namaste is okay. Very nice. And that's it for the balancing pose of the day. It's really fun. You can try it. You can try maybe against or no longer using a wall. You can also ask them to close their eyes and see how long, maybe do some counting. How long can they hold the pose, making sure that it's safe on the ground. And the quiet time that I've proposed here for kids of that age would be some massage. So some hands-on therapy. You would help the children to lie down and massage the arms, the legs. So a little bit of hands-on, little bit of quality and bonding time with the children, making sure that your hands are kind and that the kids can feel some pressure. So it's not too soft, not too strong, just right. After some nice massage, keeping maybe one or both hands on their arms, on their tummy, and invite them to stay for up to 1 minute. You'll see. Of that age, maybe you can expect 1 minute, then try up to 2 minutes. Okay, and you'll be surprised. Even at that age, like last year, my student, before COVID, I had a wonderful group of ADHD and autism spectrum. That was their favorite poses, Shavasana, the relaxation. They wanted to jump straight away onto this. So they might be very active, whatever happens in their life. Shavasana is their quiet time. Shavasana, relaxation, is where you let them rest. They don't have to sleep. They just rest, don't have to do anything. And it's like recharging their battery. After lying down, guide them to roll. Maybe I'll show you. roll on the side and come to seated pose. Namaste. So that's it for the kids of that age group. All right, what else? Swati. We're moving to the, just checking on the timing, we're moving to the twins and teens. A very interesting group age. Unfortunately, sometimes the flexibility goes down because of their growth and hormones. So that's where yoga is even more important. Emotional swings as well. So that's a critical age to start or to continue or to do even more yoga. Waves breathing, tap, massage, down dog, tree, triangle pose, and supine twist. If you think the exercises from the previous age group are relevant to your child at home or that you see, of course, please use them. Okay, teenagers are just older kids, but they are still kids, so they want to have fun as well. All right, I'm going to demonstrate the next one. The breathing first, okay? So Swati, you can turn the camera on to me if you wish. The waving breath. If you have a way to make them listen to a soundtrack, listening to waves, natural waves, maybe we guide them to imitate them. The way you breathe, sounding like waves, would be closing the mouth, and making your exhalation loud with your mouth closed. For those who practice yoga in studios, it's called Ujjayi breath. So you kind of don't breathe out completely to make it, you kind of resist to make a loud, profound sound. If you have pictures of a sea, of waves, of beaches to show them, that's even more meaningful. So make them relate and understand what the exercise is about. So the waving breath is something that you can also repeat at the end of a yoga practice to slow down as well. It helps to calm the mind and the body. It works really well. Try as well for you. The movement that I tried here would be using some tapping. So you would use your fingers or their fingers, one or two, or the fist to wake up the limbs. So it helps to turn on their connection with themselves, feel the sensations. So you would move to the other arm. Okay, my arms are not long enough, but you can do it on their back. Gently on the tummy. And then on the legs. Okay, so creating some vibrations, some connection to wake up the body nicely. You can use your hands for the back of the legs as well. So tapping gently the body is quite a nice one. Pauses, of course, depending on the children themselves. Maybe keep repeating the cat and cow. Maybe if they get strong enough, downward facing dog straight away. Okay, downward facing dog. Maybe even one day you get one leg up. In down dog, make sure they always look back. Okay, so their neck stays really long. And of course, right with the second leg. And maybe at that age, instead of walking the hands back, they can walk their feet forward. And forward fold. So forward fold, it's okay if they bend the knees. Okay, as long as they feel something on their lower back or at the back of their thighs, you can be happy. Help them to shake their head yes and no. And gently come up. As you come up, again, take time. take like a neutral break in between the poses. Okay, so don't overrush. And we can guide them into tree pose again. Same thing. And eventually, I love the triangle pose. It's one of my best poses anyway, and children would love it as well. So we can present the triangle pose like a windmill. So you would open the legs of the child. The front toes are pointing straight in front of them, other toes pointing to the side, belly pointing to the side, opening the arms. Depending on their core strength, use a wall as well. It gives a wonderful guidance and support. Okay, and guide the windmill to go down. Okay, in triangle pose, ideally you want the legs to be straight. Okay, you want to stretch the legs, open the hips, open the shoulders. So it has a wonderful benefit because it's working on every single aspect. You can get the kids to look down, which is way more stable. Over time, you can get them to look up. If they're holding here, that's okay, as long as they get into the pose, trying longer and longer. And of course, we come back and try on the second side, going down. So as you see, my arms are creating a straight line, but that's okay. No perfect alignment, as we said. If the upper arm is like this because they have frozen shoulder, or if you need to bend their elbows, okay, get the maximum out of the pose with no pain. And you come up. Get their feet to join and guide them to lie down. The next one is a wonderful position. So you get them to lie down, you hold onto their knees, or you get them to hold on to their knees. One knee to the chest and lower the other leg down. You can stay here. Make sure their lower back is down, and it's a wonderful pose to stretch the lower back. Now we get into the twist. Okay, so the right knee is against their chest. Rest their right arm to the side, open like a T, and their left hand, and probably your hands as well, would guide the right knee to the left. Okay, I will show you from another side, like this, and from the final side, like this. In this position, you stretch the pec muscles, stretch the whole side of the body, hips, tummy, bottom. It's okay if the knee is not touching the floor. And ideally, you want the right arm to stay down. They might not like it. If it's painful for them, you will see by their face, lower the knee. Okay? And of course, going back to the neutral position and switch side, left knee, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Right leg down and twist other side. Okay, so keep the left arm and left shoulder. Come back, and you know what's following the twist, the resting pose, Shavasana. So in Shavasana, you want the arms to be along the body with the palms facing up. You want the hands to be lower than the heart to relax better. Maybe time them, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Again, I can tell you they will probably love Shavasana. That's it for the teenagers. That's it for the 3 groups, I think. So we can move on to the next slide, just about a quick summary. I think you got it. Create a yoga routine with repetition. But as you know, being in contact with special needs means you always need to adapt yourself. Okay, one day goes well, the next day, you don't know why. It doesn't go as per the plan. So don't give up, okay? You are the one in charge of making them love yoga, remember? So keep trying, adapt yourself, breathe and smile. Keep it simple, slow, and short. Be gentle, of course, kind hands-on. Lengthening, oh yeah. Whenever you make the children move, think of creating space, adding space within their body. So create length so they feel more free inside, and then you move. Okay, so always think of making the children feel taller as per that tip earlier. Okay, so lengthen the spine, more space within the vertebrae and the ribs. A complete yoga practice includes, so if you want a complete session for the children, you have a twist, both sides. You have a back bend, open the heart, a forward fold. I should have said side stretch as well, and balancing. Then you have the secret ingredients of a wonderful yoga class. Balancing doesn't have to be giraffe or tree pose. It could be this one. It could be just one arm or one leg. Okay, many variations of balancing. When you get the kids to balance, guide them to look at a point in front of them. So the gaze is still and soft. When the eyes don't move, the body won't move, and the mind gets more quiet. What else? The energy level, as I was saying at the beginning, depending on the energy level of the class, of the children when you start, you want to leave the children quiet and calm, but make sure the ending is not too abrupt. So it's not good night, namaste, bye-bye. So be smooth within the transition from their early morning, whatever, to their yoga practice, and then from their yoga practice to the rest of their day. Okay, and namaste. I think I didn't say namaste for the teenage group. And the last piece is to always watch out for signs of sensory overloads. Okay, so whenever you see signals, so anxiety, overbreathing, comfort the kids, okay, hold them, hug them, bring them down, give them time, and then you see if you repeat, if you go back to the yoga, or if you wait for the next day. Okay, don't rush. All right, that's it for the summary. Future sharings. So I was really happy to, I think in 1 hour, yes, give you some ideas of what we can do with children with special needs. There are many more exercises, super useful to do at home or anywhere. So I would be happy to have more workshops based on specific challenges of the kids or based on specific age groups. There are many exercises to do for wheelchair children or for kids in bed as well. And we can go even more intensively. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sophie. That was such a wonderful session. And the chat box says that people were really happy and delighted to get live demonstration from you. I think so that really made the session very engaging, and everyone is taking a lot of learnings from here today. Before we move on to the next segment of today's session, I would quickly like to inform all the attendees that if you wish to attend the upcoming webinar or workshops from Ability, or you want to register your interest for Ability Checklist, or you want to avail the free trial for Ability membership, for doing any of this, the link is being shared in the chat box right now. You can visit the link, and this page has the collection of all the things that of how you could engage with Ability. So please do visit and keep this link safe. You can also pass it on to your friends and family so that they can benefit from it equally. Okay, moving on to the next segment of today's session. We have received a lot of questions, but since we are running short of time, we'll quickly take a few ones. So the first one that we have is from Savita. Savita says the child is unable to fold her legs properly as she sits in the yoga posture. So if you could kindly guide on how to teach this to the child.
So, yeah, there's an idea where to do yoga, we need to cross the legs or we need to lotus the legs. But, and I think that most of the time I was sitting like this because it feels comfortable for me. But it doesn't mean it's comfortable for everybody. So the key is to get the kids to sit comfortably so that they can remain still and do other stuff like breathing or whatever. So if they can cross their legs, few possibilities. You elevate their hips. Okay, so I have a yoga block. You have probably a cushion pillow at home or books. So get the kids to sit on a block. They would probably feel less tension on the knees, on the ankles, and maybe feel better. If that is still not working, then straighten up the legs. Legs don't have to be perfectly straight. Legs could be a bit bent, or legs separated. Butterfly. Only bent like this, like I was sitting like this at the time. Okay, so no fixation. Don't worry about the way they sit. If sitting like this requires some effort, then it means you're working on the hips, and that's fine. But don't assume that this is a resting like a base mode for them. Okay. Is that clear?
Right. Yeah, I think so. That will help Savita and so many others. The next one that we have is from Rohitesh. How to explain and monitor the breath control part of yoga to children with special needs?
Sure. So that's why we always, once we have the children attention, we focus on the breath because the breath settles the rest of the practice. After we focus so much, we assume that the breath goes on, but it's your job to check that the breath is not held. So remind them, cue them. Whenever you notice they're holding the breath, which is very natural when we do a little bit of an effort, you guide them. And the way, I didn't show this earlier, but the way you can make them interested into breathing is to present their belly being like a balloon. And when they breathe in, their belly gets big like a balloon. And when they breathe out, their belly gets small. Belly breath, balloon breath is something very meaningful for the kids. You explain it once, twice at the beginning, and then they will remember. You just say balloon breath, and then they get into it.
Interesting. What an amazing tool you used there to make children mindful of the balloon breath. I think so. It will help so many. The next one that we have, I'm sorry, I'm rushing through the questions. We are, short of time. So the next one is from Shibalika. She's asking, what is the ideal time to practice yoga and how many times should one do yoga in a day or for how long?
All right. Traditionally, we practiced yoga, yogi, thousands of years ago, in the morning, early in the morning. That's why we do the sun salutation. So yoga was so linked to the nature that every morning people do the salute, thanking the sun to bring us light and life. That's the tradition. As yogis, we love to wake up early and do our yoga practice. It doesn't mean that kids would enjoy. You need to find the right time for the kids. Before breakfast is ideal, but before bed is ideal as well, as long as the kids are ready and willing to do it. So you find the right timing. You avoid 2 hours after a meal. So yeah, there's no perfect timing. It really depends of the child. And usually we like to practice once a day. If it's just 5 minutes practice, and if it's purely breathing, mindfulness, of course, please repeat it. If it's a strong, like 30 minutes, 60-minute practice, once a day is good. And in the week, we like to have 1 day of rest as well. Let the body rest, heal, and digest.
Totally. That's really important. The next question is from Belinda. Belinda is asking, how can yoga help with seizures? And if you could share some yoga poses for improving immunity and increasing health.
So yoga, yoga is not magical, and I don't say that it would prevent completely. I mean, we know that yoga helps to boost the immune system because it helps to strengthen the lungs. It helps to oxygenate the blood. It helps to circulate the energy and the lymphatic system. It boosts the immune system. So in particular, the seizures. For seizures, the inversion. So the downward facing dog is an inversion where the head is lower than the heart. It does stimulate a lot. It helps to activate the whole blood flow. The twists as well. And of course, breathing is a superpower of everything. So breathing, I would say breathing, inversion, and twists.
Okay. Yeah. Hope that helps you, Belinda. The next one, a lot of people have asked us this, Nelvia, Bhuvana, Jinvini, and so many others. If you could share yoga techniques to manage emotions. So if is there some way how we could use yoga to handle a child's temper tantrum or meltdowns?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for the questions. One very practical thing which can be done at the beginning of a session, at the end, or at any time during the day when you see the child is very frustrated and angry, guide them to get their body tensed, as tense as their anger is. So squeeze every single muscles of their body. You can guide them to squeeze the lower part, so squeeze the toes, the calf muscle, the thighs, the bottom. Moving on to the middle part, squeeze the tummy, shoulders, arms, squeezing the face muscles, and let go. Squeeze, and let go. Repeat this 3 times, and then stay completely let go. Remember the octopus or jelly exercise. After letting go, you want the body to be soft, and you want the anger to be a bit gone. So the squeeze and go is a very good one to manage emotions, I would say.
Okay. Great. Since we're running short of time, I'll take 2 last questions for today. The second last one is from Vimi. Vimi is asking us how yoga can help children in increasing their concentration.
Yoga helps to focus their attention, because how can they do 3 poses if they think of what I'm going to have for lunch, or I want to see my mom, or they need to filter their thoughts. If they want to be holding their 3 poses and count until 10, hold it until 10, no way they can think of other things. So teaching them how to hold the pose will teach them how to manage their thoughts as well, and be able to filter and letting go the extra thoughts that are just buzzing in our mind.
Great. Okay, so coming to the last question for today. If yoga as a technique is applicable or helpful for all ages of children with special needs, all age groups, maybe. Cool. This one has been asked by Maria Janet.
All right, thanks, Maria. Yeah, of course. I mean, yoga. Yoga is for all age and all types of people. Babies inside of the belly of their mommy can practice. There's mommy and baby practice. There are toddlers yoga. So there's no minimum age. The earlier, the better. You practice at home, and probably your child could do down dog before he could even walk sometimes. So the earlier is the better. And it's never too late as well. So, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Sophie. A lot of people have asked us many similar questions. We hope we were able to answer most of them. And if you wish to get detailed answers to your questions, maybe we could plan future workshops with Sophie. So great. Sure. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. That brings us to the end of today's session. You could register your interest for ability checklist or avail the free trial offer by the link being shared in the chat box right now. And do not forget to share your feedback for today's session. It will help us improve the experience further for us. If you face any difficulty while trying to submit the feedback, do not worry. You will also be receiving an email a couple of hours or maybe 3 to 4 hours after the webinar ends to be able to claim your certificate. You can submit your feedback even then. Okay, Sophie, thanks a
Thank
lot for your
you.
precious time. How do you
It was a
think today's
pleasure.
session was for you?
Yeah, it was good. I just missed the interaction, hearing questions, but thank you for your help and for forwarding some questions, Swati, and I hope it was useful for the community and for the kids.
Certainly.
Yeah.
We hope the same. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. That brings us to the end of today's session.
Thank you.